open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
I brought the girls home to
the Beast
last Sunday.
Okay.
And I walked through the door threshold, and I went, what stinks like weed? And she's like, oh, maybe my pipe. I'm like, did you just hit that? She's like, well, I'm not supposed to drink or else I can't get my meds. So I'm just doing that to mellow out because it was a bad day at work.
I understand waitressing is hard, but...
It's not.
Everyone that I know that did waitressing says it's hard.
It's not hard. It's stressful. It's not hard.
Okay, well, stressful, whatever.
As long as you can take proper notes and your cook doesn't fuck up the order, all you have to worry about is some asshole who's never satisfied. So anyways, I asked for the girls to get me the clothes to go back to my house, and neither one of them want to do it. It's always this argument. She's like, go down and get it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going down there. So I told one of them to get the bag of clothes out of their backpack that we're supposed to stay at
the Beast's
house. They hand it to her. She hands it to me. I'm like, what are you doing? These are the clothes for your house, dingbat. I want the clothes for my house. She's like, fine. Oh, I'll just go get it. So she's already a raging, bitchy mood. Goes down, brings me a bag, and I'm looking through it. She's like, why are you looking through it? I'm like, to see if all the socks match, if there's things that belong at your house that are in here for some fucking reason instead, because that always happens, and sure shit, there were. And then there were 2 pairs of pants with no tops. I'm like, what's with these fucking pants? She's like, I don't know. Just go. Why you got to be up in my shit? Just go. Like, she's trying to get me out the door. I don't know why. And then I'm like, where's the fucking fire? What's the hurry? And she's like, well, my car's going to be back soon. You're blocking it. I'm like, your car's coming back. Where is it?
Here we go again.
And I looked at her, and I went, new guy's back, huh? She's like, just shut up and go. I don't want to talk about it. So the guy that she just a few weeks ago accused of stealing her money, our kids' savings jar money, and her pills is somehow back in the picture. And she says to me, well, I don't even think he did it. I'm like, okay, well, even though you were fucking freaking out about changing your locks and buying a taser because you're so scared.
I don't think he did. Okay, so who else took it then? If he's the only other adult that had access to it.
I don't know.
And did you ever think that if she's smoking marijuana in her house, maybe an anonymous phone call to the police might get her in enough trouble?
Yeah, we'll get there. But
okay.
Honestly, it won't. Unless they smell it right when they walk in and there's kids right there, they won't.
Well, you smelled it.
Yeah, and?
So, walk out the door and be like, doot, 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 doot. Yeah, I got to report.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of yourself here.
Okay.
So I went out in my car, and I'm sitting there in the driveway, and she's fucking, like, cussing at me as I'm looking through the bag. And I'm trying to explain why there's these pairs of pants, and I think there's shirts that go with them, and to keep a lookout. She's like, I don't fucking care about clothes, all right? Just go. Just fucking go. I'm like, boy, you sure are in an awful big hurry to get me out of here. What is it you're trying to avoid? What are you so scared about me and him coming face to face, huh? So a few more minutes go by, and then she's like, if you don't leave, I'm going to call the cops. I'm like, call them. Fucking call them right now. You, while you're stoned, call the police and tell them I'm here concerned about you bringing a gentleman into your home that you just a few weeks ago were scared robbed you and you wanted to change your locks. I can't wait to see the looks on their face when you try to fucking explain that one away. So anyways, I leave, I go home, I call the cops. I tell them the story, and the cop on the phone, I can already tell, does not want anything to do with this. He does not fucking care. He'd rather do a number of other things.
Figures.
And I mentioned the part, I'm like, well, it's funny because this guy, she was so scared of him, but then she's like letting him drive her van and he's coming back to the house. And he goes, well, it's not really my business to tell her who she should or shouldn't let drive her van. I'm like, no, I don't care about that. You're missing the point. This guy she was so worried about that robbed her. She filed a police report with you guys, allegedly, and was going to buy a taser because she was scared to be in her own house alone. And she's just welcoming him back in. I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, what are you looking for me to do? I'm like, could you please go do a well-being check on my children then? See how she is. Okay. I put it to him like this. I know these aren't your kids, but try to see it from my point of view. Although you don't have an emotional investment in the situation, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would be going there to check just to, give you some peace of mind. He goes, he calls me back, he tells me, well, I talked to her and she seems fine to have the kids. I'm like, okay, well, did you talk to the guy? No. Like, okay. Fuck you! So I get off the phone with him, and I'm like steaming mad that she's just letting this guy waltz back into her life, because it seems like either she was so fucking off kilter when she made those accusations to me, or this guy's like fucking Eddie Haskell.
I'm wondering if she was just stoned out of her wits originally when she made those accusations, and it's like, oh wait, I found him.
Nah, she'd be mellow when she's stoned, typically.
Oh, really? Okay.
She's the bitch when she is drunk.
Apparently when she's not drunk, too.
Well, yeah, but she's a special kind of bitch when she's not drunk. She idles
Super
at bitchy,
bitch.
but when she drinks, she becomes like just this wonder cunt.
Okay.
I get a bug up my butt. I call my folks. I tell them the situation. They're like, well, what do you want us to do? Do you want us to go over there? I'm like, well, you could if you were to stop by and see how things were going. And they're like, well, we'll call her. I'm like, that's not going to, no. Why don't you stop fucking pussyfooting around and go over there? Make her uncomfortable. Make her have to fucking admit it. You can see the bags under her eyes from her being baked. Anyways, they didn't. They called one time and didn't leave a message. Not helpful. And that's what my dad said they were going to do, and I just texted him back. I'm like, you people are fucking pathetic. Grow a set. You're all fucking bluster and hellfire and brimstone when you're mad, Linda. But when it comes down to brass tacks with confrontation, you can't do shit.
No, because whatever she talks people behind their backs, as soon as she sees them, oh, hi, how's it going?
Yeah. Fucking ridiculous. So I went driving by, and I'm like, fuck it. I parked across the street. I called the phone. I asked to talk to the Juice. And I'm talking to the Juice. And I'm like, so, is he there? Yeah. Okay, do you feel comfortable with him being in the house after what Mommy thinks happened? She's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this. I'm not going to talk about this. The beast grabs the phone and chews me a new asshole, hangs up on me. So I just quickly rolled up the driveway, got out of the car, knocked on the door. Like, I couldn't see anything except for the Juice on the couch, Chi-Chi chasing her other little sister around, and then the Beast and new guy there are off probably in the dining room. I don't know. So I knock, and all of a sudden Chi-Chi's like, Daddy? Here's the Beast reaction. Don't open the fucking door! Don't! Get away from the fucking door right now! The kid is like scared because she's getting screamed at like she's doing something wrong. I'm like, what is your deal? I'm like, send him out here. I want to talk to him. She's like, no, you get the fuck out of here right now. Why the fuck are you here? I'm like, I'm worried about their safety. She's like, they're fucking fine. Get out of here.
Well, let me be the judge of that.
Yeah. So he comes walking into the kitchen and sees me. And I'm just like on the window like, you. Yes, you. Come here. Let's talk. You and I have a conversation. I want to talk to you. Come on. And she's like, no, you're not going out there. She physically gets between him and the door. She refuses to let him outside. She bar chains the fucking door. And he wants to come out. He's like, I'll go talk to him. It's fine. I'll go talk to him.
Conversation, His daughters are here. My honest opinion, if Drama's dad wanted to have a conversation with me, I'd go out and have a conversation with him.
Even if he showed up unannounced and angry looking?
Yeah.
A lot of things can get solved with a face-to-face, man-to-man conversation, especially seeing somebody's facial expressions and amount of eye contact, and you can read them better and notice their tells if they're lying. And I wanted an explanation as to how the money and the pills disappeared, and if he might be covering for somebody that he had over. Like, did he have a friend over that might have been quickly snatching some shit, or how is he going to explain this away?
That's a suspicion that Mrs. Number One and I had. When we had a previous roommate, she had mentioned to me shortly after he had been removed that she noticed that some of her jewelry was missing. But it was like, well, when did they go missing? And she couldn't remember when it went missing, when the last time she actually looked at it. But she was saying, I was looking at it here a little bit ago, and it's like, I can't find these earrings, and I can't find this. And I know my former roommate had people over when I wasn't home. There wasn't much I could do about it, but
Right.
I mean, back then, I wasn't like, I need to lock my doors, because I knew a couple of people he brought over, but I mean, I didn't know everybody he brought over, so
Yeah.
it might even have been him himself. Who knows?
Could have been. So she calls the cops, and I was like, "Fuck it, I'm not gonna run like I did something wrong, because I'm not doing anything wrong." And a cop shows up. It's a younger cop, and I explain the situation, that I'm concerned, that it seems really fucking bizarre that she's welcoming this guy back in, and I'm questioning her judgment and if she's having some sort of a psychiatric episode, because she's been just off the wall for weeks.
You don't say.
And I said, to prove to you that I came over here for the sole purpose of a conversation, I lifted up my jacket and showed her my belt line. I'm like, I don't have weapons. In my pockets, all I have are my wallet, my keys, and my phone. I'm like, you want to pat search me for your own safety and comfort? Do it right now. He's like, I believe you. I'm like, I just want to talk to the guy. She's refusing to let him out here, and she is freaking out that he can't talk to me. Something's wrong here. Well, because when she called the police, Chi-Chi's in the background crying, and here's the clincher. She says, there's someone outside my door right now and they won't leave.
She didn't say my ex?
Correct.
What a bitch.
Now, maybe she did that giving me a chance to go, trying to scare me, but not giving my name to keep me from getting in trouble. Or maybe she did that to create a false sense of urgency.
False sense of urgency is what I'm going with here.
So 2 more cops show up. And I've had a great rapport with this younger cop. But another cop comes walking up the driveway and he says my name. He's like, I thought we had this figured out. What are you doing back here? I'm like,
oh, dear.
I said, we didn't have it figured out. He's in there with my kids. I don't know what's going on. I explained the whole situation of her refusing to let him out of the house, that she's really amped up about me and him talking, and I don't know why. I calmly came over here to have a peaceful man-to-man, face-to-face conversation, and that he wants to come outside. Technically, by legal definition, she's like holding him hostage. She refuses to let him outside.
By definition, I believe you're right.
So that's when the cop gets really pissy with me.
No way.
He's like, well, you want to talk to him? Yeah, call him. And I said, I don't know his last name, let alone his phone number. But I promise you, he does want to talk to me. So go ask him. He's like, I'm not going to do that. Well, I could call him. I could park across the street, not on her property. I can sit there in my car, and if he wants to come down, we can, like gentlemen, sit down and have a peaceful conversation. It's all I'm looking for. And you could go and ask him for his phone number if he's willing to give it to me to call him. You could facilitate that. He just goes, now it's time to leave. I'm like, really?
I think some cop needs a new job here.
And then the younger cop he just kind of looks at me like with that I'm sorry expression, like it's time to leave. I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, it's time to leave.
Yeah, my superior.
Well, I wanted to really just flip out right there because that's not okay. You want to talk to me? Talk to me like a person. Don't talk to me like a stray fucking dog trying to shoo me away, you dick taster. I mean, clearly, you're one of those cops that has no patience or capacity to deal with domestic situations. This is not violent. It's not technically escalated. She's amped up because she's got something to hide. Something's wrong. And I don't know if it's that she doesn't want him to find out everything she told me, or maybe she made some shit up. You never know with the beast because she's such a fantastical liar to cover her ass and never accept responsibility for her own actions. She would rather go through all of that fucking elementary school level of logic to create this web of lies than fall on her own sword. But what pissed me off is that I don't even think that the guy that was talking to me on the phone and then showed up and was a dick was the patrol sergeant for the shift. I could be wrong, but is this really the time for solidarity, young cop? Because you're probably 15 years younger than him, somewhat new to the job, I'd say within 8 to 10 years at the absolute most, judging by the youth on his face. Which means that he went to school after I went to school. They were moving more towards a person-oriented customer service type policing. Less of this, not our fucking problem, get the fuck out of here type.
Yeah.
Officer safety is the number one thing of importance, true, but can we maybe facilitate some sort of, I don't know, natural organic ending here, some resolution? Why would you go for a short-term fix instead of an answer to the problem? So the young cop's probably new school where he knows you can put a little bit extra effort. These are human beings. I said, I just need you to take a humanistic approach. He's like, no, I hear you. I get it. I'm in uniform, but I hear you. So I think he was taking me to a degree seriously and being respectful. Unlike older cop, which is a fucking dinosaur. He's just this relic of an antiquated system that for years was like, well, let's just separate people. You know, like you could say that there's a husband and a wife in a house. And the wife assaults the husband. And the cops show up. For years and years, they would just make the guy leave.
Yep, even if she's the one that started shit, the guy was the one forced to leave.
I know they still do it in this town because they did it to my next door neighbor on a handful of occasions. When she left him fucking beaten and bloodied, they didn't even arrest her ass.
Well, he has to press charges for her.
He was fucking willing to. The cop smelled beer on his breath and was like, I'm not going to do anything about it. Even though she was pissed drunk and he was bleeding from the scalp in 3 places. Like she's punching with rings.
Shitty cops in this city.
There are some shitty cops in this city that just don't fucking care. And it's really upsetting because they'll always say, well, you know, you can go to the courts and try to, you know, adjust your custody situation. I fucking know that already, Captain Obvious. I spent $6,800 fucking dollars. I didn't even make it past the first hurdle before she caved. I don't want to spend $10,000 to take it to trial because that's what it's going to take. I'm not going to wear her down again, and I don't want to waste the money, but I'm well aware that I can go through the court process. But if I'm going to spend all that fucking money, what is the point if I don't have supportive reports from the local police to show a pattern of behavior of questionable judgment on her behalf that help me prove my point to the judge beyond just my claims that are technically hearsay? You show up, you talk a little, you write a report, hopefully you don't half-ass it, I can use it in court. But if you don't even want to fucking talk to me, bro, you're not worth the badge on your chest or the money that we pay you from our tax coffers. You can't be bothered. I'm sorry that dealing with people's custody situations isn't sexy, like a fucking bank job or a car crash, or, you know, you got some guy who fucking knifes somebody and now he's drunk in a park fucking dancing around in his underwear swinging a machete.
Yeah.
But
the fun calls.
It's part of your job. And if it's not, then it's time for society in America to decide, do we have a separate wing of the police force that deal exclusively with domestic incidents?
Ooh, good question.
I think it's time for them to have a wing of the police that deal strictly with domestics.
Isn't that kind of like 50 or 60% of the calls nowadays is domestic situations?
I would probably think so, or
Anywhere
disagreements
from,
between two parties that may have a domestic relation.
Yeah, well, domestic, anything that doesn't really involve an actual crime, like a robbery or anything like that, it's just a disagreement in the household. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm just guessing that judging by the amount of time between when I called and he called me back, and then he went over there, he didn't look through all the police reports. And if he did, there's a chance that he looked at the police reports at her address and he mistook me for Loverboy because they've had some cop calls. I don't know.
I'm sure
he didn't give me time to fucking explain. He just wanted me out of there. He wanted to be over and done with. He doesn't care about our problems. So to that I say, fucking retire. And let's get somebody younger in your position that has a greater capacity for understanding, and we'll do a little bit of counseling. Because it's not just showing up with that stupid fucking shiny button on your chest. All right? All it does is give a number and identifies you as an officer. Doesn't fucking make you special. You lose that job, you could be in the same boat as me. So if he's never had to deal with the divorce or custody, lucky for him. But maybe, just maybe, treat the people that are calling you that upset with those concerns a little bit more respectful. So now, while I don't need the cops to wipe my ass, I'm very perturbed at the situation, and I haven't decided if I'm going to outright complain to the chief of police or if I'm just going to write a really snarky letter to the cop.
I would write a snarky letter to him because next time it gets called up, he'll deal with it even less professional. But I would bring up concerns to the chief. Be like, I'm not saying this guy's a shitty cop, but I don't think he handled the situation very well. Maybe he needs to brush up on domestic situations and how the new age cops are being trained. Maybe he needs to take a refresher course.
Well, it's not even that as much as his candor.
Yeah,
Here's
you
what
know
he
more about
said.
it than I do. So.
He's like, I thought we had this figured out. What are you doing here? That's how he said it. He could have been like, okay, why are you back? What's going on? Same message,
same
different
message,
delivery,
different,
drastically different inflection. Doesn't offend me. But instead of just call him, maybe say, do you have the means of talking to him any other way? Same message, different delivery.
See, and I think he's, maybe your theory is right. Maybe he's mistaken you for Loverboy, and you're just a burned ex-recent lover who wants to take something out on a new lover. And really, you're not burned out on it at all. I mean, shit, when was the last time you guys were together? Like 10 years ago?
Yeah, she told him that the reason that she was trying to get me to go is because I was trying to talk to her about stuff she didn't want to talk about, and that she doesn't want me to be around new guy because I don't get along with him. So she fucking gave him these vaguely generalized lies.
Don't get along with him. You haven't even met him.
I do know him. I have met him many times.
Oh, okay.
He's very agreeable. He's a sociable dude. Until that shit happened, I had no concerns about him being around my children. I actually questioned his scruples for getting involved with her.
Oh, bitch, you got jacked, bitch.
But he's also been in jail before. This is a guy who once upon a time ago, I don't know, I can't remember the setup to the story, but somebody called the cops on him and he knew he was going to get pulled over. So he ditched his car on a dirt road, and then they found him walking down the center median of a highway in the country in just his boxers with his hands above his head. He was that worried that he would get fucking arrested or shot.
Wow.
Right. But the cops don't care because I must just be a jealous, spurned ex-lover. I wish he would have brought that up and I would have said, we've been separated for almost 7 years, you fucking moron. Maybe you should follow the trail here to the police reports that suddenly spring up at this location after being at a former location where I still live. And I also would have been like, by the way, I'm married, dickhead. I don't care who she fucks, unless it affects my children, and then I very much am concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Interact with the show on Twitter at What Do We Call It? That is at What Do We Call It? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/What Do We Call It podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.